Let us see, Isagi Yoichi. What does it truly mean to be you? What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here from Fat Doing to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Another fun fact. Here we are for chapter 323 of Law, which is known as Shining Hope. And of course, you also know. Come on now, you know what time it is. It's me every week. So I had to pre-drop. I'm excited. Because obviously this game's about to end. This game's about to end. And ultimately, if I had to give my thoughts on this game so far, right? Obviously, I'm not sure if it's ending this chapter or... I mean, the chapter's really called Shining Hope. So, like, maybe this chapter? Maybe this chapter? Probably like next 3 chapters or so. This game's probably over. What? There's only like 15 minutes left. So, ultimately... How do I feel about this game? I think it serves its narrative purpose well. But ultimately, and like I'm trying to separate myself from my biases real quick. I'm trying to like reach into my heart and be like, no, don't worry, you know, just because Nigeria were bombs here doesn't mean they're real bombs. Like I know, but you know what? No, I think ultimately it works. I think what I will love about this game, I think this game will skyrocket in my heart depending on how the next game goes. If France is an extreme diff for France, if France versus Blue Lock is an extreme diff for France and not like, at most I want it as a mirror of this game, except maybe Japan gets 1 goal. Maybe Japan gets 1, maybe 2, if you're feeling greedy. Maybe it could be a super high scoring game, but France just scores goal after goal after goal after goal because Loki's on. Like I need something to contrast this. Because I don't know, dog. See, essentially Blue Lock just bully Nigeria. But of course, let's put all that aside and let's hop right into chapter 323, Shining Hope. Yoichi Isagi has the ball. It's time for Blue Lock Japan's counterattack. Curiosity in myself. Curiosity in himself. I wonder if hold on, let me slow down a little bit. I wonder if I can live like you too. I mean, you know what? I do like. I made that poll last week being like, hey, do you live within yourself? Have you never lost that hunger, or are you like just searching for it again? Do you need to lock back in? And a lot of people are like, I never lost it. But a lot of people were also like, your boy. We're ultimately for it. Even as a while, I'd say I've gotten into more of myself, like just curiosity wise. I understand that feeling. I understand nausea in particular. And I think that's what saves this game for me, right? I was just talking about like, it hurts. But I do think Nigeria serves as a fantastic commentary, or like just a fantastic example of what happens when you merge almost too much. Because once again, I think, notably, I've seen some takes about Blue Lock that I disagree with. People see Blue Lock, they read Blue Lock, and on the surface level, they get like, oh, you should only care for yourself, you should only be by yourself, this, that, and the third. Like, it's a super singular power fantasy, yada, yada, yada. No. No. Of all the things to take care of Blue Lock, I don't think the message of Blue Lock is isolate yourself entirely and do everything by yourself. No, it's the idea that while you can and should have a team around you to support you, once again, Isagi's not a lone man, it's important to have a team around you and supporting you. You must not be consumed by those around you. You must not be consumed by the world around you. You must not, essentially, you shouldn't allow yourself to be limited by them. If anything, what your core friend group, what your core team, what your core existence should be is that consistent idea of constantly bettering yourself. And by constantly bettering yourself, you can constantly raise everyone else with you. You shouldn't be dragging down or stopping down or letting other people necessarily hold you back. But there and notably, Blue Lock even has times where people are being held back for their own sake or for their own good. But in like the actual Blue Lock facility, not just characters, who've gotten kicked, but like even characters like Isagi, you've had moments where they need to be like dragged back to reality. Up, there goes gravity. Up, it's a calamity. Whoa, he's so mad, but he won't go back to and that's the thing. There are those moments where the importance of other people is highlighted. And notably, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, it's a team sport. So I don't think the idea of Blue Lock, or the idea that Blue Lock is trying to sell, is like this giga ultimate solo power fantasy where one man can do everything. That's not what the story's about. It's about being yourself, understanding yourself, and consistently being able to identify yourself from the masses. If someone were to yank you out of a crowd of people spontaneously and ask you, who are you? What do you believe in? What do you want? How you do it? And what are you pursuing? Blue Lock is the kind of narrative that wants you to be able to answer those questions on the fly. Who are you? Blah, blah, blah. What do you want? Blah, blah, blah. Like, you should just be able to fire it off. What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What are your goals? Like, essentially, that's what Blue Lock is about. I see what I did there. What are your goals? And I think that's what Onazi was lacking. And it's notably not even because he himself doesn't have a strong identity. It's that his identity is too intertwined with his team, with his family, right? It's too strongly linked. Onazi, ironically enough, despite being an orphan, despite being a person who did lose his family and was alone, by not being alone anymore, he fell into, like, it feels so weird, it's like the trap of connection, but like, he kind of fell into the trap of defining himself by others. And notably, I'm personally in the camp that you kind of always are defined by those around you. It's why that I do believe in the phrase, you are the friends you keep. I do believe that you are heavily influenced by your family and your upbringing. And I believe even just where you grew up in. You could have the exact same family, but in a completely different location, and you'd be a fundamentally different person. Because, once again, I do believe people are defined by their environments, not just the innate circumstances of their birth, to quote you two. So, Onazi, despite being arguably in the perfect position to truly define himself, in a very twisted way, but despite being in the perfect position to truly define himself, because he had nothing. He had no... Well, he had a background. We just don't know. Like we don't know his original last name or anything like that. He was a child, right? Despite being put in the perfect position to rise up on his own and be his own by connecting with Obobana, with Bello, with Kuso. He limited himself by trying to define himself by what they could all do together. When ultimately, what would have been best for Onazi is to keep pushing forward as himself and essentially let his team keep chasing him. I think that would have been better for him. And I think that's what Isagi does. And ultimately, it works so well for Isagi in particular because this curiosity is so pure, right? Like we've seen, Isagi had a really, like Isagi has no issues, right? Isagi doesn't have a tragic backstory. His father didn't treat him like a soccer ball. His mother didn't abandon him. He doesn't have anywhere near the tragic, chaotic, insane backstories that a lot of some of the most popular and just general Blue Lock characters have. And he didn't grow up hard, none of that. He's not like well-known, anything like that. But because of that, unlike all those characters who were defined by their circumstances, Isagi is defining himself almost against those circumstances. He's so curious about who he is because that's what he was allowed to do. He was allowed to be that. And he almost lost it. He literally did define himself by his team and then gave up that goal all the way back at the start of the series, or gave up a pass in order to win the team a goal and not himself a goal. But now he's once again reinforcing what it means to be him, and trying to figure that out and constantly seeing how far he can push himself. And in my opinion, that's the way to live. And that's why I don't blame Onazi now that I further understand the cover of him reaching out for Blue Lock and his ideas. I get that, right? Once you see something that inspires you and you think you can reach it, there is that idea of like, man, I kind of want to do that too. I kind of want to know ball. And I don't think that's a bad thing either, right? Like, I've talked to somebody and they're like, I get inspiration from other people, but I just don't want to rip them. And I was like, I mean, ball, right? Like, notably, I always say, no one, even if you're doing something else that someone else is doing, they won't do it like you. Even if you try your hardest to do it like somebody else, it will still have your own tastes and flavorings and imperfection, and it'll still be you, unless you're literally just copy and pasting like words from something else. Even if you're taking an idea that's done before and applying it in your own way, it'll come out in your own way. I look at my own art all the time as like a reference for that, right? Like ultimately, even when I'm like, I'm looking, I have the marker or the pencil in hand and I'm going slowly but surely. It doesn't necessarily matter that I have the reference right in front of me. I'm constantly because my own imperfections slip in. I hold too long on a line. I ended the paper. That is still me. And I think once you come to accept that, it's okay to be inspired as long as you're willing to do you at whatever cost. Maybe not whatever cost, but most cost. Let's see. All right, Isagi. Poor nameless guys. And once again, that's the other thing I'm interested about the World Cup. Man, I wonder how we're going to develop these teams, dog. So many teams need development. Let's see. Wonder if I can live like you too. All right. Pass the ball to Batra. Is that all you've got, Nigeria? If you want to be the world's best, then surpass Blue Lock. Surpass my brain. Telling a whole group of nearly full grown men to surpass your brain is correct. But I mean, I get it though, right? Like, it's funny enough. I've been on a recent showdown obsession. I'm not gonna go too deep into it because there's some people like, oh, here goes pencil with the video game talk. But let me go into a little bit. I've been on a recent Pokemon Showdown kick. It happens every once in a while where I'm like, oh man, I just keep hitting battle again. But let me be honest with you. Your boy be losing a whole lot. I was like, I think the highest I ever got was like in the mid 1500s. Right now, I think I'm at like high 1200s just because I keep messing around and changing the team, doing that. And I think ultimately it comes down to the idea that, well, sometimes it is fun to get those like quick sweeps, like you come in, you throw out your first mon, and then it just bulldozes through the other team, right? Like sometimes they open up with Iron Valley. Iron Valley is usually my late game cleaner, but sometimes they open up with Iron Valley. I click Swords Dance. They let me Swords Dance twice, and I just knock off Spirit Break, Close Combat. They don't have any priority on the team. I just swipe the whole team. And it's fun. It's good sometimes to like go through and do that. But ultimately, those games don't make me too much of a better player. Outside of like picking, okay, this is the right move, this is the neutral stab move, or this is something that'll do damage. Like that doesn't do it. It's those matches, it's those battles where I'm like, okay, this is like a 40-turn battle, but it's not because the other opponent's stalling. It's because I'm switching out, and then they're switching out. And we're using switch, and like it's essentially the higher intensity the match is, the higher intensity the battle is, the better I feel like it helps me. And of course, I'm still not that good at Pokemon. So like, it's not the best. But I think that's almost with anything in life. Ultimately, if something isn't challenging, it's harder for you to grow. So ultimately, what Isagi's probably focused on here is not like he doesn't want Nigeria to actually beat him or anything like that. But he's like, do it. Work harder. Be better, gang. Lock in. He's essentially telling them to lock into it so he can get a better experience stat farming them. And that's crazy to say, but I understand it. Sometimes you do need a good challenge to grow, right? Like, for those who don't do like the Pokemon thing or any of the fighting games things, for an example, I just recently leveled up to like 60. Typically I do increments in the gym by like levels of 60. I don't actually like do like the free weights. I do machines. And recently I do 60. So if I'm doing lat pull downs, it's like 60 on each side. If I'm doing the rows, it's like 60. If I'm doing it's 60 all around. I mean, there's some machines that are different, like the isolated bicep curls. I do like 80. Essentially, that's the thing, right? I could not do 60 a year ago when I first started. I was like at like 20 or 30. And what I could have done, I could have stayed at 30 or 20 and just kept doing it and just going through the motions. But every single time it got a little bit too easy, I leveled up. And now I'm logistically, maybe not literally twice as strong, but like I'm much stronger than I was before. Why? Because you keep adjusting the challenge, right? You keep hitting that flow state, quote unquote, where you're brought into a point. And ultimately, when something becomes too easy, you just don't get as much out of it as you could when it's difficult. I think that's what Isagi's searching for here. But let's see. Careful with the taunts, Isagi-chan. Or no, not with the taunts. Careful with the taunts, Isagi-chan. Huh? Ego told us to keep them at 0. Their morale was about to be decimated. So why are you pumping them up like that? I mean, that is a good question. But like, once again, I think he's just here. He's here for ball, dog. He's here for ball. Let's see. Oh well, here we go. Literally, I can turn it into data. Huh? If one of them awakens, I can experience a new form of soccer. And if I can adapt to and stop that egotist, then Blue Lock will. Then Blue Lock will. Sorry, I thought I heard something. Let's see. And then Blue Lock will evolve even further, right? It's that endless hunger for a challenge. I get it. Though admittedly, man, does it suck to go on a losing streak, dog? Like sometimes I just want to put the gosh darn controller down. Like notably, I'm still buns at Rivals. I have a whole bunch of hours on it. But I'm buns at Rivals, but something. I'll be hitting one more round way too quickly, dog. Way too quickly. Even after I lose. Sometimes I steam up. Sometimes I go crazy. I've been picking up new characters. I've been playing more DPS because I'm a degenerate. And like Moon Knight, I just picked up Moon Knight. I've gotten MVP multiple times over. I be getting upwards of 30 plus kills, maybe like 1-2 deaths in a match because I'm just goated like that. And then sometimes I get steamrolled. But sometimes you just go for it over and over again because that challenge just be it. Let's see. Just how greedy is this guy? Plus, even if they get a point, we'll still win. 5 minutes left. Oh, but you know that's another good example. Like it's almost. This one I don't agree with as much, because I'll admit, this is where I can kind of align myself more with Aiku and not so much with Isagi, where if I see like not a destined victory, but like a victory. If I see a likelihood of something just getting done at a certain time period, sometimes I don't even risk it, even if it could be like, maybe if I impose a self-imposed challenge, it could take longer or something like that. I don't know. I've always been like somewhat weirdly efficiency minded. I think it's why I do a lot of things that some people consider weird. I'm just like, it's efficiency. It's just like get it done and over with. So I do somewhat disagree with Isagi, even though I understand Isagi's one for challenge, right? So like I'm aligning somewhat with Isagi, but I'm seeing Aiku's vision of like, this should just be over. We should let it happen. We should let it rock. Even if you will win, even if they get a point, the matter is it's over. We should let it be over. But once again, seeking endless challenge and endless evolution, Isagi can't just let it be over. So I get it. But it's like, 5 minutes left. Do they awaken or do we adapt? I'll leave the backline to you, Captain. He's finally got the metavision popping consistently, though. 5 minutes left in the game, though. I don't imagine they doing nothing, but I mean, let's see. Though he's got 5 minutes left to score. That's actually kind of crazy. Isagi, you better get that goal, bro, Chacho. Let's see. I'll leave the backline to you, Captain. Are you testing me too, egotist? Most certainly. Most certainly. And you know what? Once again, I do like this dynamic. It's something, like, notably, the dynamic between the metavision choosers, and very specifically Aiku and Isagi, is something I'm more and more interested to see against an actual threat, right? Like, unfortunately, the one weakness of Nigeria is that they haven't really been a threat. You know, they're buns, all right? They've held off, and they haven't gotten, like, 8-0'd, but they're about to be 4-0'd, right? And I'm interested, and the thing is, though, I'm probably not going to get what I'm itching, scratching, and fiending for until England. I'm not going to get a moment where, like, everyone's, or like, Hiyori, Aiku, Hiyori definitely not, he's off the pitch right now, but Hiyori, Aiku, Kurasu, Isagi, Rei are all sitting there just talking shop, straight like, alright, so this, that, and the third, this is happening here, this is going fact, okay, so let's go with this, random drop it, like, I want to see them actually be forced to use their minds, and I'm thinking England will do that. I think they may try it against France, but once again, I need France to get pulled out back shots just to get revenge for Nigeria. The people pointed out that apparently Loki may be from Morocco? He's probably not from Nigeria. His family is at least not. But they are from somewhere in Africa because he's based on Mbappe. I forget where Mbappe's from. Let's see. You know what? We can Google that real quick. Where in Africa is Mbappe? Where in Africa is Mbappe's family from? What is their ethnicity? Kylian Mbappe, Algeria. Oh, Cameroon and Algeria. So not Morocco at all. But those two places. But hey, get revenge from Mother Africa. Do whatever you must. Let's see. Are you testing me too, egotist? Roger. Cover the left side. It's not how it's over, bro. With odor. Let's see. Bachara, he's gonna keep schmixing y'all. One more. Railpon. Why are you calling me? Let's see. One more, Railpon. Nice lift pass, Bachara. Oh, my Potter! Not getting in fact, Cliff. Yo, I'll admit. For the guy who had my second least favorite design, I still really don't like Bella's design. I think it's the eyes. I think it's the eyes and the mouth. But like, as a person who had my second least favorite design out of the Nigerian players, Obo Obana, well, he's got his fair share of clips on him. He's been clip farming back pretty consistently. He's been hitting banger after banger. Dare I say, he's clip farmed on more Blue Lock than Onazi has. Hold on. Oh boy, Bon, I see you. That's the third time you did that. Dang it. He saw through it. I mean, like, I forgot. That's the third time. Like, body. You gotta hit the schmicks on him a little bit. Let's see. Second ball. You're too ordinary for that. What? I mean, like, I get it. It's meant to be like portrayed as cheap. I don't know why. Like, this funny. This drawing looks a little funny. It looks a little. Wait, hold on. Let me click. This drawing looks a little. Oh, for a moment I thought I accidentally turned off the recording. But I don't know. He looks he has chubby cheeks here. Let's see. No, that's what you. Kuso? Click. Hold on. Hold on. I mean, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't like you saw. You said game's over already. But like, hold on. This is cinema. This is cinema. Wait a second. What? Karasu. In fact, Rayo and Karasu, two Metavision users. I mean, I guess it's new data, right? So they're not ready for it. But like, come on now, dog. Y'all getting clip farmed on by Obo, Abana, and Kuso. These guys don't even got last names, and you have Metavision, and you're out here getting clip farmed for the free. That's crazy. What? Nice, Kuso! Onazi, you gave us hope to keep living. With our dream of winning the World Cup. Being with you was so fun. It was like a dream. It was like a dream. And you know... Like, I think ultimately, right, and I'm trying to synchronize with with Nigeria more and more. As me myself, like I said, I'm Nigerian. But I think very specifically, a difference that I have, basically in the Nigerian context that I grew up in versus the context they grew up in, is the idea that you could rest on the laurels of somebody else was like that was never drilled into me. In fact, it was the opposite. I like, and notably, I don't even think this is a bad thing. I appreciate my parents for being like this. I know some of my Nigerian families are like, I wish I wasn't, but I had a decent enough balance where like I still remember my dad would always be like, "Good job, kid. Next one. Good job, kid. Next one." And you see them? They kind of go with the sauce, ain't they? Boom. Or like, and luckily, and like I mentioned before, I'm in a little weird age gap relative to like the rest of my family. My dad isn't the oldest of his brothers or sisters. He's like, I think he's in the middle or to the younger side. So like, I had a bunch of older cousins that would constantly be reflected back to. And sometimes it would be a little bit annoying, but then he would be like, "Hey, look at your cousin. Look at what they're doing. Are you built like that?" And it was always the challenge of like, "Are you this? Are you that? Can you do this?" And it was always the idea of me, the individual. It's after it got to a point where my dad just stopped checking my grades. He stopped checking anything. Because he was like, "Okay, you're kind of going with the sauce, bucko. I'll let you cook. If you need anything, just let me know." And I didn't. Because I was just like, because essentially I started wanting it for myself. Even though I had, like other people I looked up to. I had people that I could see living a dream with. And then once again, I even had friends. I had people I would consider quote unquote rivals of sorts that were like there with me and we would push each other. That's the thing, we were always there to push each other. Even the man I consider of my brother from another mother, my best friend, my brother who doesn't share any blood with me. Even he was just like a person to push and motivate me, and he still is that in many ways to this day. Right? That idea of living a dream with somebody else is nice. But notably, I don't know, my dream, like, at least for me, it's always been like, move forward, run. I've always been just dashing towards the future in a way that was encouraged, right? Because other people could do it, why not me? But it seems like Onazi and crew, by joining together like this, once again, they sunk too far into themselves. And then once again, I'm not saying that's entirely a bad thing, but it does limit you. People should always be there to lift you up, but they shouldn't be the only reason you're rising, if that makes sense. You should be able to climb without someone lifting you up from behind or pulling you up. It's okay if you get like a hand up here or there. You got a harness to secure yourself. You have something to fall back on. But you should always just be climbing. It's okay if you don't. It's okay if you stop and take breaks. You're not a machine. And in fact, machines need to stop and take breaks or else they'll overheat, explode, and perish. So it's okay to rely on people. And it's okay to have that support system. Never saying it isn't. However, at the same time, you gotta have something in you. You gotta, at least in my view. And once again, not licensed anything. But I feel like you've always got to have something in you that makes you want it, that makes you desire, that makes you need it, and whatever that is. So for me, it was academics into my professional field, into now content creation, or now technically a professional field, and content creation, so I'm pushing hard in both of those. But for someone else, it may be art, and like heck, art is one of my passions. That guy with a pencil, you know, like I literally draw every single day. So, and that's something I've only gotten better and better and better at because I keep pushing myself over and over and over again, tackling the challenge that I struggle with. So, like, it could be art for you. It could be video games. It could be content creation. It could be anything. Have that something that when you get up in the morning, it's like, I gotta get this done, no matter what. And do that, and that'll push you forward. It's okay to have other people to push you forward, but at the same time, it's really good to have you push you forward. Hey, Onazi, the data says we haven't been increasing our attack patterns lately. We're winning, but our scoring power is gradually dropping. At this rate, there's a high probability that other countries will devise countermeasures and shut us down. Oh, shut us out. So, what if we stopped making you the lone finisher and brought in a second player to help you up front? Coach suggested that. Oh! So the coach was actually coaching. Well, there we go. So maybe that, because he had a very clean dude. So maybe he's in some buttons. But yeah. That is true. It's the idea I mean, I've gone into it once again, like, you know, the idea of challenge and the idea of variety, and like, it's different. It's weird to say, because I feel like in real life it's a bit different from like sports, right? Because obviously in sports you got that looks horrifying. You may be wondering what am I talking. The fact why do they not have pupils here? Something about seeing them with the all white eyes unnerves me. But maybe the pupils are there just extremely tiny, but this right here, this look freak. But in sports, right, or in any sort of like competitive thing, you kind of always do want to have multiple options, multiple multiple paths to victory, right? Like for any of my Magic players out there, you don't want to just have one card you're desperate to pull and then you can play. You want to have a deck that has multiple win cons in it. So ultimately, if you draw it one way or another, you can get to that win con one way or another. And of course, it's different if you're playing Commander. For fighters, for like any sort of fighting game out there, you want to have more than one way to open your opponent up. If you only know how to do a decent damage combo off of getting the low mix up and not the high or the mid or anything like that, that's not the best. You want to have multiple options. In physical sports, that's also a real thing. You want to have variety in your attacking patterns, even in you, right? Once again, for soccer, you want to have multiple ways you can score a goal, or multiple ranges you can score a goal, so you can keep people on their toes. You want to have, in basketball, you want to have multiple different shots, right? Like, obviously, there are people who've spec'd in, like, one thing, and they're still really, really good. Look at Shaquille O'Neal, for example. Like, go ahead. Stop Shaquille O'Neal in the paint. I dare you. But the reason people like Steph Curry are so dangerous and notorious and the greatest shooter of all time is because no matter where he is on the court, he could be right by the rim or he could be 50 feet away from it. There's a non-zero chance. And by non-zero, I mean like 50% up that it's going in. The reason Wemby's so dangerous right now is the man can posterize you, he can shoot a three, and he can get a rebound, sometimes all at once. Okay, he can't obviously lay up and posterize anybody at the same time. But so, that's what I'm talking about. You want to have that variety. And in real life, the reason I say it's a little bit different in real life is because actually you kind of do want to spec into like one sort of thing. I'd say you want to have something that works for as many people as possible, right? Like I don't ultimately think switching up your personality for every single individual person you meet is the best thing. Obviously, you have your nuances here and there where you communicate one way with one person, one way with another, right? Like I don't talk to my friends in the same way I talk to my parents. I would literally be atomized. So that's a little bit different. But in terms of like actual professional ways, I feel like you should sort of like have a you that just is you. But in this case, I understand that idea of like you do need a little bit of variety, and that variety once again would introduce challenge. Let's see what Onazi says. I'm assuming you just declined it. Hey, but then wouldn't you get less playtime, Kuso? Well, no, he's a midfielder. He's not another striker. Or Obo and Bello. Well, we'll have to find supply. There's always a battle over the starting lineup in soccer. It's time to accept that things can't stay this way forever. Oh, but see, so Kuso was willing to change, and I think that's important. I think it's always important to be willing to change, even and especially if you're comfortable. I think it's important to change. And then, hey, once again, this is me trying to give myself advice. There are many times where I'm comfortable and I need to change, and there are many ways I need to change right now. I need to sit down and record some videos. I've had scripts sitting on my computer since either early, like at the start of the year, or even some from last year. I just need to sit down and record. So trust me, I need to change too. But interesting, Kuso was about it, but looks like Onazi wasn't. No way. I want to play soccer if it's not with you guys. See, that's not good. That's like, I brought this up before. I'll bring it up again. My brother from another mother and I live close enough that we were going to the gym together. Potato chips forever. But I mentioned it before. We stopped for a long time, for a decent time, because one time one of us couldn't make it. And well, if the other guy's not going, I don't want to go to the gym. And then it happens so much you just stop. Now I wake up every single morning. No matter what. I go to the gym. By my lonesome. Entirely by myself. Why? Not because I think that, we just don't. It's just because it's me. I'm motivated by myself. And I cannot drag myself down because someone else can't make it. Or I can't use another person as an excuse. And I think in this case, Onazi isn't meaning to drag himself down, or drag Kuso down, or drag anyone down. But by locking himself to such a specific idea, I don't want to play soccer if it's not with you guys. That limits his options. And that limits his potential for development. That limits who Onazi could be. Because he's so focused on this idea. He's I don't want to say he's scared of change, but he doesn't want change. And if you don't want something, you might as well be scared of it. But that's not really the case. But that's the thing. I think that cost him. Nazi, I was so lonely, and all you guys saved me. I want to repay you for becoming my family. I want to take you to the World Cup and win together. So we won't change our method. We don't need other players. See, like that. That's too much. That. I mean, notably though, I don't fully blame him because one, he's really young. Like, what? I think he's like 18. He's really young for one, and for two, they hadn't failed yet, right? Until the reality of failure was brought to them in this game. Like, they hadn't failed. They were the kings of Africa. Their bombing strategy worked. So like, I don't blame him for being in this position or in this mindset fully, but locking yourself into a state of stagnation, especially, I think notably locking yourself into a state of stagnation, especially when you can see that things are possibly going to go wrong if you stay in that state of stagnation, I think it's a bad thing. I think it's different though, right? Like, if you're in a spot where you're good in life, things are consistent and they're exactly how you want them to be, then I say don't change. Be chilling. But if you can tell, if your spider senses are tingling, if you know what I'm talking about, and you can feel that something's going to go wrong, or someone's telling, even worse, someone's telling you. But, I'd say typically someone tells you and then you realize it yourself. So someone tells you and then you possibly realize yourself things could go bad. Then I think it is time to change. It is time to lock in. And once again, it is a struggle. Change is not easy. But I think that's what makes it satisfying in a way. But, we'll see. Oh, Nazi. That makes me so happy I could die, but isn't that choice just gonna kill your own possibilities? Yeah, in a way. And sometimes, and that's the thing, it's always a case-by-case basis, right? Whenever I talk about stuff that worked for me, or my generalization, and stuff like that. I know people, like, literally, personally know people, who have not changed anything about themselves. But I feel weird saying lucked out, but they did luck out to the moon and back. Insanely high metabolism, automatically naturally great physique, super duper intelligent, super duper tall, super duper fast, great base personality. Like, never I've known the guy for what? Oh, I'm gonna sound so old. I've known the guy for 15 years. Like, legit, has not changed a bit outside of aging naturally, and even then, that just made a bad, like, legit perfect flatline kind of guy. If you're one of them, you're good. I don't gotta worry about change. Life is good for that man. I'm happy for him in all the many ways he succeeded. But most people, you do need to accept change, no matter how hard it is, and you do want to accept the possibility of branching as much as you can just to grow. I'll say, it's fine. I'm here. All right, Kuso hitting the dash, making it go fast. All right, let's do this, Kuso. Go. Oh, Bobana, maybe you could score. Not happening. I'll say, in the end, I caved to Anasi's kindness and couldn't say it. And before I knew it, our dream had gone from winning the World Cup to be together. It's okay to have that kind of dream. It's okay. And I think that's the hardest thing that I do find hard to press, right? As much as I'm always like, be yourself, do yourself, identify yourself. Blah, blah, blah. If you're happy, be happy. I think ultimately, if I had one message of all the yap I do, if there's anything I could ever say that would get through and stick with you in your heart, in your core, in your soul, gosh darn it. If you're happy, be happy. If something that isn't entirely individualism or super strong sense of self or consistent change and growth, evolution, or child, if that doesn't make you happy, don't do it. If you're happy as you are, how you are, where you are, then fine. If you don't think or don't believe your life would get massively better by taking a change or don't do it. Be happy. Be happy. Because happiness is the one thing that is at the core of all things, honestly. I seek challenge. I seek the lows because they make the highs taste all the better. I go through challenge. I go through hardship. I risk things. I do things for the love of the game. Because the passion gets my dopamine rushing. God darn it. It's the things that I love. Right? But it's not for everybody. An example I always use is roller coasters. I love roller coasters. I'm itching. I'm addicted to this stuff. But I know many people, them being my best friend, who doesn't like all roller coasters. There's some he just fly on one ride. And I'm like, that's fine. Heck, there's one roller. I do not ride the slingshots. If it's just 2 strings of metal and I'm just in there, no, I'm not riding that. Especially most of the time you gotta pay for that. Like, I'm not doing that. But that's the thing. Each their own, both stick and bone. Like do whatever you wish that makes you happy, because ultimately being happy is the apex of human experience. I will never fault someone for not changing as long as they're happy. So be happy. But in this case, it looks like happiness isn't enough for them. They want more, and they need to change for that. Once again, looks like a little chubby cheek here. I think it's just because of the line and how it falls into the mouth. Let's see. But now, that's been exposed here by Blue Lock. No, Yoichi Isagi exposed it. No. He's gonna clip farm Anazi again. I see where you're positioned, Isagi. How did you get all the way back here? You probably just took a straight shot, but how did you get all the way back here, Isagi? I see Onazi right there. He's gonna clip farm him again. This chapter's gonna end with an Onazi clip farm. No! Let's see. No, Isagi Yoichi exposed it. Pass, Kuso! Kuso don't pass. Kuso don't pass. Kuso don't pass. Be your own hope. Do it. Break their ankles, Kuso. Break their ankles. Let's see. Here, at the hottest place in the world. As you wish, Ona. Wait. Let's see. As you wish, Onazi. You can't move forward unless you throw us away. I mean, throwing away is such a harsh word, or like a harsh way to put it, but like maybe you can't move forward unless you run away and make us chase you. I think ultimately some of the greatest people that have pushed me the farthest I've ever had are the people who have kept up regardless of what I've done. If that makes sense. I especially think back like to the track days, where like, especially once I got in the top 4 fastest, right? And I was running with the big boys, guys. I was that guy. The thing that kept me moving faster wasn't just the fact that I had 3 people in front of me that I had to catch with all my might. It was also the fact that they were, in particular, I'm thinking of 3 people. I'm thinking of 3 people off the top of my head, who in one way or another were better at me in something. And I knew if I slipped up once, if I fell behind once, if I made one mistake, they were going to tear me apart. They were going to tear me limb from limb. But that was a driving force. That was a motivation. And that was something that was born of other people, right? That wasn't just an entirely a me thing. It was the idea that even though I had gotten ahead, even though I had achieved what I wanted, they were still there. They did not give up. They were still right behind me, chasing me with all their might. And in that case, literally. Your boy was never caught, let's just say that. I didn't beat the top 3 guys either, though. So, like, your boy doesn't have, like, a super cover story. But that's the thing. I don't think you should entirely abandon those who have gotten you to where you are, but you should simply use them as growth to move forward. That's it. Block brought to light the part of your ego that makes you fight for yourself, not us. But Kuso, can you fight for yourself? Do you have a you you're fighting for? Let me see it, Kuso. Let me believe it. Let's see. That makes you fight for yourself, not us. Chase after that curiosity in yourself. But Kuso, who are you? Kuso, who are you? Who are you separate from Onazi? Who are you? Where's your dream, Kuso? Take the shot yourself. Even though if Hiyori's an example, it's going to fail. But take the shot yourself. All right. Karasu clip farmed again. Rayo clip farmed again. The whirl around into the nutmeg is crazy. 2 Metavision users getting farmed on. Oh, France is going to be out. To quote Ryomen Sukuna, women and children are going everywhere like maggots. It'll be a massacre. France, I need you to whoop him. Stop him! Raichi, that is your job, buddy. Raichi, that is your job. Why do you look so fluffy? Or like, not spiky here. Let's see. I think it's the mouths. It's the mouth. I don't know what it is about the mouths that make him want to look so chubby cheeked. Like I don't know. He looks like he has chubby cheeks here. And notably his hair just isn't as spiky as it usually is. When did he get? Yeah, once I continue across, maybe I'm just not. I may have to go back and check the other chapters. I feel like I'm noticing chubby cheekness way too much, and maybe I'm just projecting because I know. Let's see. When did he get so sharp? Well, there's some man named Isagi Yoichi who's kind of been mental buffing the entire opposing team. Oh, Raichi, how could you say stop him? And then you're the maybe he was just talking to himself. He was like, oh, well, I guess I gotta lock in. Let's see. Our family dream might end here. But even so, I want to see. This is, Hey, so he is a, interesting though, he didn't enter flow. He had to pass, but he didn't enter flow. But he like Hiyori is someone who wants to see somebody else. And like, that's fine. I mean, once again, it's what makes him happy. So I'm glad for him. And I think ultimately, if your inspiration, if your hopes, if your dreams come from supporting somebody else with all you have, that's good too. Heck, I think of people, I know there are people who I do support with everything I have. And if I'm ever lucky enough to have kids, I'm just ripping out the heart and the limb and just putting it in them because they're getting everything. Let's see. I want to see when you take on the world. Okay. So Raichi, the clip form of Doom. The clip form of Doom, Raichi. Where's your stamina at, bro? And then are you getting clip form? So, darn you, everybody on the team got clip form. But where's Isagi? Where is he? I'm still. I've already seen him. That's him. That's him. I see you, Isagi. I see you. He's gonna clip form on him. He's gonna clip form on him. Let's see. My shining. Let's see. My shining hope. Let me see you. Oh, that's him. That's him. Okay, so you're not. So, So we may have like 2 more chapters left in the match. I'm assuming Isagi's gonna clip farm on him because we've seen Isagi too much in this chapter. Near Onasi, for Onasi actually succeed here. Let's see. The new egotist is here. Reach the world with this shot! Oh, let me see you reach the world with this shot. He's getting clip farm, but W chapter. Once again, it is. Blue Lock is a story about identity and self-reflection wrapped up in soccer, and I love it for that. So overall, a W chapter. I've already gone over in depth how much I like the chapters of themes of identity and the reflections, and very specifically how one can lose themselves in an organization or a belief system or even a family, how that can come back to backfire on them. But then ultimately what you can do is you still use those people to rise up again. I've gone over it. I've gone so far in depth. It's a W chapter. If you're not waiting in this video, please do me a favor and leave free from family. Sounds so bad though. Free from family. FFF in the comment section down below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below, where you can support me for as low as $1 a month to get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You can also now become a member to the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks include live reactions to every other series I have to review, ad-free variations of all my videos, early access to all my videos, your name at the end of literally every single video I produce, and early access to ad-free versions of the videos on the second channel that got the reaction. So overall, you can also drop $5 down there on my Ko-Fi for a short video or $25 for a long video. But regardless, I want to thank you so much for watching and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with a Pencil, writing off. I'd like to thank you to our sketch tier members: Son of Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, Brandon Payne, J2MA, Guillaume, Buddha Ura, Alex Kenny, Enzo, Swift Strike, Super Flame Zero, Yuki Ally, Azo 2404, Striker Man, Aso 8, Grim, Straw, Twisted, Ollie, Da Boy, Corey Watson, Damon Brown, Magic, CCC, Official Popeyes, Ramondo Furan, Create Panem, Sarah Fiel, Dino, Axis XC, Plant Crone, Pickle, Heath Nelson, Hector Gonzalez, P-Sub, and Black Sage. Then I'd like to give a thank you to Artline Art Tier patrons: A+A, Kevin Encarnacion, Dread Zoen, Sean, and Midnight Lord 21. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our Inc. Tier members: King RTX and Shrimpo the 4th Shrimp 06. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our Digital Art Tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. I'd like to give a final thank you to our Colored Art Tier patrons: Walkie Munoz and Walkie Munoz.